We do have a great and glorious history as Americans, but I always put that in the context of the opening words of the Constitution, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union." There were debates during the Constitutional Convention over the original sin of our country, which was slavery. And in fact, parts of the Constitution pay homage to the institution of slavery by the mere fact that slaves were counted as 3/5 of a person. It took a bloody civil war and a great president like Lincoln from a great state of Illinois to be a part of reconciling the contradictions between our founding principles of freedom and equality against the contradiction of slavery. So in order to form a more perfect union implies that we were not a perfect union. And the greatness of our country is the consequence of generations and generations of Americans fighting to make the country more perfect than when it began. Along these lines, let me talk about my parents and grandparents who spent 4 years as prisoners in American concentration camps during World War II. They were forced from their homes by the government. My mother and father spent their childhoods in tar paper barracks in the deserts of Wyoming and California before starting over from nothing once the war ended. And by the way, these camps were not, meeting OSHA safety standards. My father suffered very serious burns on his legs after falling into a burn pit. Years later, President Ronald Reagan formally apologized for Japanese-American incarceration and acknowledged that it was a grave mistake, quote, based solely on race, unquote. This is a conservative president who also, I think, came from Illinois. But today, on one such incarceration camp, the Trump administration had posted signs making visitors report, quote, any signs or any information that are negative about either past or living Americans, unquote. Japanese Americans, like my family, fought to preserve those incarceration sites so that they would teach future generations about the dangers of prejudice and racism. This administration has put up signs warning docents and park rangers not to make America look bad. I tell this story because that is what this bill does. It prohibits the leading government-funded history and civics programs from discussing racism, systemic discrimination, the existence of transgender people, or any other history the administration doesn't agree with. This isn't civics history. This is censorship. And no matter how this administration and this majority may try, you cannot erase the facts of American history. As a former teacher, I ask, how can we accurately talk about the realities of the American experience if teachers can't discuss how slavery and the Jim Crow era shaped American life today? How can we talk about Japanese-American incarceration without talking about the racism and moral failures that led to American prison camps? Or discuss the state violence that led to Stonewall without being, to quote the administration, too negative? This bill seeks to erase transgender Americans entirely from American history and civics curriculum. This is not only harmful, it's inaccurate. Transgender people have existed throughout American history, and we need more education about their stories, not less. And while the majority is busy policing what teachers say, they are ignoring the actual crisis in the classroom. The administration has already canceled $600 million in teacher training grants. 1 in 8 teaching positions are unfilled or filled by a teacher who is not certified for the role. It's estimated that 6 million students are impacted by this shortage nationwide. This bill doesn't offer any support for that crisis. This bill does not authorize a single dollar toward educator professional development. It just executes on the administration's orders to clean up any history it doesn't like. Like Joseph McCarthy before them, the authors of this bill give politicians the unilateral power to censor the ideas they don't understand or don't agree with. It doesn't take long before politicians' ideologies begin to creep further and further into our children's freedom to learn. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
I thank